Hello, fellow human light beings. This is Mahadeva, the Thunder Wizard, and you have arrived at the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the final 5-step process to achieve 5D New Earth shift. Feels to me as though the final stages of 5D Ascension has begun. And it's important to know what you can do to be fully prepared for this solar flash event. Feels to me like we're getting closer and closer to this. So welcome back to the channel, as I said. And this is a channel of giving you tools to take action. We don't just talk here. So what I am all about is I am all about getting experience, proven experience that you can experience for yourself. You can prove to yourself what works. It's not about just listening to me talk. You want to know what you can do. What can I do to make my life better, to make my physical body's frequency align with the spiritual realms that we already know exist. I'm here to give you those tools as well as share my experience, what has happened to me, what is happening to me, what has worked for me. So if you're new to the channel, then what I want you to do is this. Number one, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Of course, like and comment so that the YouTube algorithm picks up on it and gets this into more people's feeds. Second thing, immediately, even if you need to put this video on pause, immediately go to the playlists section. Number 3, I want you to click on the following playlists: the Maoshan Qigong, the Interdimensional Meditation, and the 12 Steps to 5D. Those are 3 separate playlists. Maoshan Qigong, Interdimensional Meditation is another one, and 12 Steps to 5D. Number 4, I want you to do at least one thing from those playlists every day. Even if it's just a few minutes of meditation, do one thing from each of those playlists, or at least one thing from one of those playlists every day. And then lastly, if you're serious about this, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. What you will get is you'll get access to what I've been doing for the past 10 years, which is only available to people who are subscribed. The mastery of shamanism, runes, mantra, rituals, qigong, how to master the matrix, all of that, as well as the 90-day lightning qigong. Now, just to make sure everybody understands what this is, when you go there, what's going to happen is you will get access to members-only videos, and you simply press play on those videos and then do the practices. I am doing those practices on those pre-recorded videos. Do those practices and simply follow the instructions. There's multiple levels, and if you follow my instructions and do what I'm telling you to do in those videos, I guarantee you that there will be a shift. You will feel it. So if you're not sure whether or not you're ready for that, great. Then do what I said before. Go to the following playlist: the Maoshan Qigong, the Interdimensional Meditations, and the 12 Steps to 5D. That won't cost you anything. Do those things. You don't have to do all of them, but do what you can. And I guarantee you, you will feel a shift. And then go ahead and subscribe. I've got something else available to people, the 923.thunderwizard.com. Go check out that website. What I have there is I have all of the video courses that I've ever made, including all of the certifications, the certification of Vedic astrology, the certification of the rune readings. Also, I certify you in how to become a life coach, where you can help people find their true soul desire and their true passion. I teach you how to do that. You can make a living doing that. And I also teach you how to do energy healing. I give all of that, as well as the most powerful energy practice in history, which are magical passes, if you will, magical forms that when you do them, I kid you not, you create a vortex to other dimensions, and higher dimensional energies and entities will come and empower you and teach you how to become a higher dimensional being. All of that at 923.thunderwizard.com. But some people can't use PayPal. And so what I've done is at thunderwizard.com, I've created something where you can go and subscribe there. You'll get access to that. And all you have to do is just subscribe for 1 month, and then you can go back down, change your subscription back down to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And then you'll have access to all of that. You'll have access to the Lightning Qigong. All of the Maoshan practices, the entire Maoshan tradition is found at thunderwizard.com, as well as 923.thunderwizard.com, and of course the Maoshan free stuff here. If you want to ask me a question, you can become an apprentice and work with me directly by voice. You can work with me directly either once a month or 4 times a month, and that you can find at the apprenticeship option at thunderwizard.com. If you don't want to do that, but you have a question that you need to ask me, then you can go to askmike.thunderwizard.com. And the great thing about this is that I will make a video of your question. I will answer you specifically and directly, and also other people who have this same question will benefit. So take advantage of that, askmike.thunderwizard.com. All right, so we are talking about the final 5-step process to achieve 5D New Earth shift. We are entering the final stages of this 5D ascension, and it's important to know what you can do to make this shift easy. So I'm sharing with you my direct experience, and don't worry, I'm not going to get lost on tangents. In order to keep myself on track, I have a list. I have a couple of lists here which will keep me on track so that I don't go off on tangents. So what I've noticed lately, first off, what happened a year and a half ago, June of 2022, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I did human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial interdimensional beings. That's just a fancy way of doing what is called CE5. The letter C, the letter E, the number 5, and then protocols. You can Google that. Don't ask me what it is. Google it. You have the ability. CE5 protocols. And this is what people do when they want to see extraterrestrial spacecraft and connect with them. You can take it as far as you want. If you just want to see weird lights in the sky and feel a weird tingle that something that isn't normal is happening and you want to videotape it, you can do that with CE5. You can invite them to communicate with you. Many times they will beam down and be in your presence. In fact, there's been plenty of people who have done that. They go and they do the meditations and they see the lights in the sky, they take pictures, and then they come home and they get a weird feeling, so they'll take a picture of the empty room. And then they'll look at the digital photo and they'll see that there's a being in there. There's a higher dimensional being just phased out of third dimensional existence that is trying to communicate with you and talk with you. Now, if you're like me and you want to take this as far as you can, they will communicate with you, they will empower you energetically, and they will take you to other realms. You'll see past lives, you'll see what's about to happen, you'll find out what your higher dimensional purpose is here. Trust me, when that happens, that's going to blow your mind wide open. You're going to start to understand you live in a multi-dimensional multiverse. You will no longer be trapped in the 3D experience. So when I started doing that, all kinds of things have happened, which of course I've shared about in my books, which you can get at Michael William Denny. Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth and Interdimensional Revolution. I talk about just some of the absolutely crazy, mind-boggling things. This family, they're our family. These light beings who are connected to us on higher dimensions, who are working with us, helping the whole world to awaken. They've shown me some things about where this world is headed, and we talk about that in the Solar Flash Ascension videos. But I'm noticing energy is starting to shift. It's starting to feel like it's getting serious. The first experience of what I have learned to, what I've experienced, which I've learned is actually an ongoing event. The solar flash event is not a singular event where instantly everything goes from 3D to 5D. I thought that until I asked them, what is this solar flash event? And they said, and I quote, "It is a series of solar waves of love that will continue to hit Earth, shifting Earth and everything on it up to the higher dimensional heaven on earth scenario." So I've been learning more and more about what that is, and I talk about this on this channel and of course in my books. But in the beginning, which started December 21st of 2022, that was the first day officially of the solar wave event. It was the first time we got hit with a powerful solar higher dimensional wave. And then in March, we got hit with a huge event. Huge event, maybe you remember it. It was a huge event, and that was like the first time that we started seeing the northern lights going, in the northern hemisphere all the way down almost to Mexico, and in the southern hemisphere, going further north than normal. And so we've been having more and more of these solar events hitting the Earth. And if you notice, every time that this happens, you probably feel it in your body. You will feel an anxiety. You might get a headache. You might get physically ill. These are the signs that you're resisting it, or that you have toxic thoughts or old wounds or even toxic material in your body. The other spectrum of that is people feel this and get filled with tremendous bliss and joy. And I've found that I have a mixture of both. Sometimes I'm filled with absolute bliss, and other times I feel this anxiety, and I'm easily annoyed, and I'm worried about the future. And I realize when I try and figure out what it is that's bothering me, I realize I can't think of anything. My brain's making things up, and it looks for the normal stuff, which is one of the ways you know somebody's resisting it, is when they're being irrational and they're complaining about things that they always complain about, but there's really nothing of substance or anything new. That's how you know somebody's in resistance to this energy. And we can only just have good thoughts for them. But if you don't resist it, this energy will take you to a place of bliss and empowerment, and your meditations will go through the roof. You will begin to see that you're able to manifest things very quickly. So I have some very clear instructions, suggestions, if you will, based on what's happening to me, because in this phase of the shift, what I'm feeling is a lot more intensity. And I'm not feeling super blissful waves going through me. What I'm feeling is that I wake up every day and there's this intensity and anxiety, and I start looking for problems, and I realize very quickly I don't have any. I'm worrying about problems that don't exist, or things that might happen that I have no evidence for. And so what my brain does, which I think is very common for humans, is it starts looking for problems. And so what it does is it looks in the past, and it starts saying, yeah, this person said this, and this used to happen, and that happened, and these people are doing this. Or you look for people to judge, or things to have a negative, a contrary, hostile sort of, energy. You're looking for things to fight with, looking to fight with yourself or fight with your reality. And so I've come up with some really important things to do. So I'm going to take a look at that list for you right here, which is continue with 5 steps to 5D. So you should be doing that. And I've made a video about it, and I'm going to show you the list here again. We won't go into it in depth. You can watch that video. You can look for it. It's a couple of weeks old, I think, 2 or 3 weeks old. So the 5 steps to 5D light body. Number 1, realize that 3D is a projection of ego reflection. It's replaying past conflicts. That is just how the 3rd dimension works. People who are unhappy, that's the default position that humans go to when they're not following their path. They immediately go to this place where they are constantly in conflict with, things in the universe, but things in the past, things that happened to you. Number 2, you listen to the pain and remember what started it. So if you have emotional pain, you have fear, anxiety, anger, depression, stop. Don't just let that feeling throw you around. Stop. Have that emotion. This is, by the way, the whole point of meditation. The whole point of meditation is to be able to tolerate your feelings without having to be forced into action by them. Have all of your impulses without them forcing you into doing anything. So listen to the pain and remember what started it. Ask yourself, what is this really about? When was the first time that this happened? What is it that happened to me that created this instinctual response to life? Number 3, eliminate all resentments from the past. If you go to the 12 steps to 5D, there's a thing called the 4th step, and it is very simple. It doesn't cost any money. It's very easy to do. Follow the suggestions. I give you, worksheets that you can know exactly what to do. And I guarantee you, within 10 minutes, you can find the problem and you can begin to dismantle it. And when you make it all the way through step 7, by then you will have eliminated the power of that past reflection, because that's all a resentment is. Resentment means to re-feel. So if you're still angry about something a week later, it's technically a resentment. If you're angry about something that happened a year ago, 5 years ago, it's called a resentment. And it means you're living in the past. So you have to work through that. It's very easy to do, but you're going to have to be self-examining. And that's the main thing that prevents people. I'm telling you this right now. This is a huge secret. The main thing that's preventing people from working past their resistance to this shift is their unwillingness to be self-examining. We've learned not to be self-examining because we think if we admit our issues, we'll get attacked even more. If we admit fault, we'll get attacked even more. That's an old program from childhood, and it's a basic 3D thing. People don't want to admit when they're wrong. Look what happens in celebrities. Celebrities get canceled for their entire life if they make one mistake. Look at Will Smith. Slapping a guy across the face is not a tiny mistake, but he's never going to live that down. That's it. He's over. He's canceled. It's over. They've been trying to do that to other people who are going against the narrative. They've been trying to do that to Donald Trump, and no matter how bad he screwed up in some way, they're not able to cancel him. Who's the other guy? You know who I'm talking about, the comedian. I'm bad with names when I do lectures because my brain can't access names. Russell Brand. People are making up garbage about him from stuff that's 10 years, 20 years in the past. And so this is how the 3D works. It tries to bring up things in the past to cancel you. So don't be afraid of being self-examining, because the light beings, your soul, and the consciousness of the universe doesn't want to cancel you. What it wants to do is it wants to cancel out all of your shame and all of your mistakes. The way that you can do that, take complete, total responsibility and control over that process, is the 4th step. 4, 5, 6, and 7. That will take care of that. You won't be limited, controlled by the past, and you won't be canceled. So eliminate all resentments from the past. Number 4, reset every programmed response in the moment. So for me, when I wake up in the morning and I First thing, I'm not a morning person, and I wake up and that my brain starts telling me, how this is a problem and that's a problem and these people are coming after you and those people don't like you. And the truth is, I've got nothing going on in terms of that. I've got this beautiful life where I'm free of all responsibility, free of any relationship baggage. I'm free to live however I want in every moment, but yet I wake up in the morning as though I've got all these problems and these responsibilities and this baggage. And so in the moment, I just stop and I shift. It's very simple. I just simply focus on what I am grateful for. And that's easy because all I have to do is look out the window. I'm living in absolute paradise. And I've got a view of the ocean and the beaches that stretch for 20 miles. And I can walk to isolated cliffside, tiny little coves with perfect swimming and surfing and blah, blah, blah. Just my absolute perfect paradise. So I've got all kinds of things that I can be grateful for. So I just simply shift. And I just stop indulging in that, stop responding to that drama. And I focus on the things that make me happy. And then I start focusing on what I know to be true about my 5D self and my 5D world. And so I'm taking responsibility over that. It's not denial, because I do the self-examination. I do the work. I do the 4th through the 7th steps almost on a daily basis. And I'm constantly doing the work to keep myself in a state of being fresh all the time. So when I'm putting my energy into higher vibrational actions and thinking, there's nothing holding me back. So reset every programmed response in the moment. And then the 5th step is do the big 3. The energy work, which I've already told you is the Maoshan energy practice, the interdimensional meditation, and the 12 steps to 5D. So that is, continue with the 5 steps to 5D. So if you haven't done that, go back and watch that video, or go back and watch this and do those. Make that, your go-to, if need be, daily process for yourself. Because this energy frequency shift is not something that's going to happen to us. It is something we need to cooperate with. We need to consciously choose. Because if we don't do anything, our 3-dimensional programming will just do what it does. And I have come to believe, and I'm starting to see this more and more, I've come to believe that this shift from 3D to 5D is going to be an optional shift. There are going to be people that won't make it. They won't choose to go. And so the 3-dimensional plane that we live in now, where you have access to both higher and lower dimensional frequencies, that is going to come to an end. And what will happen is the 3rd dimensional plane that we live in, that's a combination of lower and higher frequency shifts, that is going to go away. And for people who just try and stay where they are, which means they're getting worse, they're getting angrier and more unhappy, they're going to shift down. And that's what happens when you don't do anything. If you don't take any responsibility and you don't put any effort into shifting, you can be guaranteed that's what's going to happen. Because even though their experience is they're not doing anything, the actual truth is they're putting a huge amount of energy into resisting the shift. They're choosing not to go to 5D. And they're choosing to do that by simply allowing their 3D impulses to tell them how to respond. If I was trying to stay the same, I would wake up, those negative memories and feelings would kick in, and then I would focus on them, and I would look for things in my life to justify those feelings. I would create more drama and chaos, but it would feel like I wasn't doing anything. But the truth is, you're investing, you're putting all of your energy into that. So one is unconscious and one is conscious. And what we want is we want to live in a frequency where people are conscious. They know what they are feeling, they know what they want, and they know that they are connected to all other beings, and they act according to their consciousness. Every single destructive person in the world, at whatever level they're at, whether they're Hitler or whether they're just your cranky old uncle, they are choosing. They are choosing to be in that vibration because it's what they understand. All right, so that's the first thing to do, is to continue with 5 steps to 5D. Now, let me tell you some things that I'm doing now, because I am very aware of this shift. One of the things that happened to me, I want to say 3 months ago, maybe more. It was during the day, and so it was kind of unusual because I wasn't in meditation, and I felt light being energy show up, and I mean, I could feel they were just outside up in the sky outside my window. Of course, I looked outside, I couldn't see anything, but I could feel their energy, and they were very clear. And they said, "Your work on this planet has come to an end." And I thought they meant I was going to die. It was frightening. I thought I was going to die, and or they were going to beam me up to their ship, or, I wasn't quite sure what that meant. And I've come to find out that what it means is my 3D work in this life has been about confronting people's unconscious self-destruction, which is what has happened in the past. If you watch in the past, people leave questions, and the first thing I do is I start analyzing and picking apart their questions and saying, here's what you're really wanting, here's what you want to say, and I point out to them how their thoughts and their actions, which are showing up in their questions, how it's damaging to them. And of course, if somebody's conscious and they have a conscious question, I respond in kind. I'm not always looking to analyze somebody. I only do it when I can tell that they've got some unconscious self-destructive stuff going on. And so I've always had this feeling that if you end up on my channel, or if you end up being my student, you're there because you want to grow, and my job is to use my laser guided ability to find out what's underneath the surface and point it out to you so that you can grow. So what I learned from that was that my job doing that has come to an end. Now, that doesn't mean if people are my student that I'm not going to help them see what's going on. But if you're not my student, if you're just somebody on here leaving a question, or if you're just, somebody in my life and you're doing your thing, it's no longer my job to lovingly point out how you're damaging yourself. Because that whole process was about helping people get ready for what's happening now. So the choices have been made. People have made their choices, and I'm not going to engage in trying to talk you out of your self-destruction. So I disengage from people's drama. I don't get involved in it anymore. And if somebody comes into my life and wants to come into my life, and they're bringing drama with them, more so than ever, I just step aside, and I don't engage. I don't want any of that, because the time for working through drama, working through your karma, all of that has come to an end, unless you're conscious about it. It'll only work now if you're consciously choosing to do it. Because we're coming to the end of this particular 3D frequency is coming to an end. So no more, battling it out with your karma, and no more twin flame relationships, no more what people are completely mislabeling as soul contracts, which is just another way of justifying your codependent enmeshment and dysfunction. All of that has come to an end. Relationships now are going to be more conscious. If you're a conscious person, Relationships are going to be conscious. They're going to be based on consciousness. But that means you have to be willing to be conscious. And that means you have to take all of that in you that wants to get into all the crazy karmic, crazy, whatever, twin flame, soul contract, codependent craziness. Now you're going to take all that energy you're putting into that and you're going to put it into yourself, into becoming clear and clean within yourself. So disengage from people's drama, step 2. Step 3, reward good behavior. So if somebody is conscious and kind to you, make sure you respond. Make sure you say thank you. Make sure that you say, you know what, I really appreciate the way that you communicate. You let people give back of yourself to the people who are giving to you and valuing you. And number 4, do not respond to bad behavior. So in the past, what I've done is if somebody's destructive to me, I will say, listen, here's how this is affecting me, and I want to let you know about it, and all of that, and point it out and get into all of that. But that's, again, we're working through that karmic stuff. I'm not doing that anymore. When somebody comes at me with any kind of toxic behavior or any kind of drama or in any way not valuing me and valuing themselves, I just simply sidestep it. I just get out of the way. I don't respond. I'm learning this directly from light beings. This is how light beings interact with me and with everybody else. They only respond positively. So they come to you and they give you all the positive truths about yourself. It's up to you to align yourself to that truth. But they only come to you with that. If you come at them with your selfishness or your, whatever your crazy unconsciousness is, they just simply disappear. This is another way how you know that there's no such thing as an evil alien. This whole idea that there are evil aliens and good aliens, and there are the aliens that are, helping the earth, and then there are the ones that abduct you, and then, that's all nonsense. As I've said many times, aliens that abduct are not aliens, they're human beings, pretending to be aliens, using technologies you didn't know existed. So there's no human alliance with evil aliens or draconian, none of that stuff exists. So what these beings will do, though, is if you do interact with them, or very rarely a light being will try and show up and make themselves available to you. You might see a ship, or you might have an experience, and when that happens, if you respond with fear, they just disappear. In fact, I'm looking back in times in my life where that happened, where they showed up, I got scared, and then they just disappeared. And so that's what they do. If you come at them with any of your drama, they just simply don't respond. What they do is they respond positively to you, acting in your own integrity and following your spiritual truth. They always respond and reward that. But what they don't do is they don't engage with any of your negative lower vibrations. They just disappear. So do not respond to anybody's bad behavior. Is that number 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I guess these are 5 instead of, yeah. So this is 4. If we say continue with 5 steps, the 5D is just the precursor. Then we're on step 4. So number 4 is to be authentic, loving, and direct. If there are people in your life that you care about, it's time to let them know. The old ways of people just sort of kind of coming and just sort of testing the waters. Hey, how are you? And wait for the response. What's going on inside is you really like that person. You really want to engage with that person. You want a deeper connection with them. And so you sort of throw out hints. And maybe if they respond back, then you open up a little more. But those days are coming to an end. Don't be don't be frightened. Don't be meek about the value that you have in wanting to connect with somebody. If it's honest, just be direct with them. Be authentic, loving, and direct. Tell people what you're thinking. You know, I've known you for a long time, and I really think you're a great person. Or if they do something, thank them. That makes me feel good that you said that. You know, whatever it is, let people know. Let the people in your life that are in your life, your family members, your children, whoever it is, just take the time to go, you know, I may not have told you this recently, but I really like this about you, and I'm really happy that you're in my life. Be honest, loving, and direct, because that's how life is going to be in 5D. In 5D, everybody, every day, will be telling everybody how much they love them and how important they are, and they will be doing acts of kindness and love, and there won't be any of this, you know, we have to kind of play this game and not give too much and, you know, be careful. All of that's going to be gone, because people will know, you know, what they want, and they'll know how to best reach out to other people. So be authentic, loving, and direct. And fifth, live as though you are in 5D Earth. So the thing is, we don't know what this shift is going to look like. At first, I thought it was going to be an instantaneous shift, and I was looking in the sky waiting for this thing to happen, which it very well still may be. There still might be a final event that everybody sees. That might be the case. I don't know. But I'm perfectly prepared for it to be a slow, gradual shift. You know, an example would be the experiment with light that I talk about a lot. It's been done numerous times over the decades, which is light a particle or a wave? And the experiment always comes back with the same result, that light acts like a particle or a wave depending on your expectation. But what we know now is that light actually goes back in time and changes everything around, so that when you research whether or not light is a particle or a wave, you will see that from the beginning it was acting like a particle, if that's what you were looking for. If you were looking for it to be like a wave, you'll see that all of the evidence says that it was a wave from the beginning. And that's important, because when you shift your frequency up, it could be a gradual shift on a daily basis. And that means that matter and reality and history goes back into time and reprocesses itself, so that you look in the past and you see it's always been that way. So you may not know that you've shifted to another version of 5D, because you'll look and you'll go, no, I've always been here. And what'll happen is it'll make sense. You know, the people who aren't in 5D, for example, who are going to shift down to 3D, it's possible that they will have died. But that's only in our dimension, so it'll make sense. They're still down there. They're still down there slugging it out and doing the normal, you know, lower vibrational stuff. Now that's one possibility. So I'm open to any possibility of that. And I'm actually consciously seeking every day to shift this manifested reality up a notch. And you do that with your expectations. So this is why doing the interdimensional meditation is so important. And you know, how it works is, whenever you go to the quantum field, and if you watch my videos, wait till the end, because at the end of every video, at some point, I will end with this. Let's see, where is it? I will end with this screenshot at the end of every video, which is the quantum field meditation to reprogram 3D physical matter into whatever you choose. And when you do that, when you go to the quantum field, which is, for me, it's a a place of light at the center of all things. Now here's the interesting thing that I've heard from numerous sources, and I believe it, is that the light, when people die and they go to the light, which you should do, by the way, don't listen to that negative victim mentality that says don't go into the light. That's people's resistance. That's their unconscious resistance to their own evolution. You should absolutely go into the light. And when people die and they go into the light, that light is actually the light of all souls in existence. And so when you go to the light source of the universe, what I'm calling the quantum field, when you go there, the light that is surrounding you is the light of every single soul in existence. Not only every single soul on Earth, but every single soul on every other planet, in every other dimension. It's the light of every single non-physical entity, deities, spirits, angels. You're surrounded by, that's why the light is so bright. And in that state, that is a state of pure potential. Nothing has been set into stone. So when you go there and you imagine your perfect reality and you build it with your imagination, and then you come back to your 3D self, you're not in the same universe you were when you left. And it's guaranteed that what you imagined there will show up. It will show up. So this is something you can take, you can take comfort in, which is whenever you go and do that meditation, and you want to change things. You don't, you don't like where you live. You don't like your physical body. You don't like your relationships. You don't like your level of prosperity. You want certain things. You want love. You want friendship. You want to feel empowered and successful in your life. Then go and imagine yourself, what you would be if you could just snap your fingers and have all of your soul's fantasies. Go and imagine that there. Because then what will happen is, when you come back here, you've already programmed that reality to come into existence. And be prepared, because everything will start to change. Now, the way that you can interact with that coming realities and make it easier is you can act as if it's already here. And the way you do that is what I've just been talking about, which is, examining your responses to reality. Because if you were living in a perfect reality, you wouldn't waste any time in resentments. You wouldn't waste any time judging other people, feeling sorry for yourself, complaining, being frightened or timid in your actions or your relationships. You wouldn't be doing any of that. If you were living in the absolute fantasy that your soul wants, you would be acting without any fear, and you would not be waiting around. You would be going and doing and experiencing and living and enjoying everything. So you're making the decision to act contrary to all of the impulses in your 3D brain. Your 3D brain, remember, is trying to get you to live in the past. So the past doesn't exist. You went and created a new reality. You've now shifted up to another three-dimensional octave. So that past doesn't exist anymore. And so to respond to it as though it's real is to pull yourself back down into it. So when you go and create that, you then have to then act as though it's here. Act as though it's going to show up any second. Act as though you are that person that you want to be. You want to be a person that doesn't get angry? Then learn how to not respond to your impulses to get angry. You want to be a person who doesn't act destructively towards others? Then in your relationships, in every moment, start acting with consciousness towards them. The Buddha nature, if we're going to talk about Buddhism, the Buddha nature says that everybody, underneath all of their, the layers of their 3D human garbage, underneath that they have the Buddha nature, the nature that responds positively, that responds with love and with consciousness and with maturity. And so you can have all of the impulses, like what I'm doing. There still are people in my life who are just attacking me, very ruthlessly attacking my character and accusing me of, calling me all kinds of names and doing all kinds of horrible things. And instead of responding to that and defending myself or correcting them or saying, here's, why are you doing this to me? Here's what you're doing wrong. Instead of engaging in all of that, what I do is I respond as though I really love them unconditionally and don't have anything to hide and I don't have anything to defend, and I just simply respond from that. Doesn't mean that I want to do that. Doesn't mean that my impulses are telling me to do that. It means that I am choosing to act from where I want to be, which is I want to be in a place where other people's projections aren't my problem. I'm only responsible for the truth of my soul and doing, being ready to connect with the truth of their soul when they are able to operate from that place. All right, whoops. So, where are we here? We are at this. So continue with the 5 steps to 5D, which are very quickly, once again, realize that 3D is a projection of the ego reflection, replaying past conflicts. 2, listen to your pain in the moment and remember what started it. Go as far back as you can, all the way back to childhood if you can. Number 3, eliminate all resentments from the past. Number 4, reset every programmed response in the moment. And number 5, do the big 3. Energy work, the Maoshan energy work, the interdimensional meditation, and the 12 steps to 5D. Do one or all of those things every day. And then disengage from people's drama. Reward people's good behavior. Do not respond to people's bad behavior. Be authentic, loving, and direct, and live as though you are currently in your 5D reality. So there you go, guys. That's it. As I said, I wasn't going to go on any long diatribes. I really wanted to focus on that. That's the biggest thing for me that I'm doing today. Again, I'm feeling the energy is very different, in that what I'm feeling more than anything else is I'm feeling that intensity, which makes me want to respond from my past negative stuff. It may, if I'm not careful, I get a headache. So I'm really, really focusing on, making sure that I don't respond to my own internal drama, and that I treat myself the same way. I disengage from my own drama. I reward myself for good behavior. I don't respond to impulses for my bad behavior. I'm authentic, loving, and direct. So I made a decision a while ago, no lies. And what I meant by that was not that I go around lying, because I don't, but we give little white lies here and there to, preserve people's, trying to kiss people's ass or to make ourselves look a little bit better, So I try to avoid any self-deprecating humor. I don't do that anymore. I don't deprecate myself hoping that I look good and all of that. And without harming anybody's feelings or violating anybody's boundaries, I'm direct with them and I'm honest. I tell them the truth. If I don't want to hang out with them, I tell them that I don't want to hang out with them. If I do want to hang out with them, I tell them I want to hang out with them. So yeah, authentic, loving, and direct, and I'm seeking to take more risks. So instead of protecting myself when I want to tell somebody I really care about you, or I really like you, or I want to connect with you, I tell them that, even if it would be something I would normally sort of hold back on. And I'm also direct when I say, yeah, I just don't feel that connection with you, if that's something that needs to be said. I prefer to just let things fizzle out on their own. But all right, so that's it. I'm starting to repeat myself. I'm trying to make things as available as possible to people. So as you know, if you go to the playlists, I do everything to give everything for free so that people don't have an excuse of I don't have the money or I don't want to spend it or teachers shouldn't charge. I mean, the truth is I got to pay the bills, and this is what I've chosen to do. But I've gone out of my way to make sure that there are no excuses, that you will have access to all of the practices and resources necessary. But it's also true that if you want to evolve, you are going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to take risks. So I encourage you to live the way I do. If there's something that I truly want, even something as seemingly insignificant or selfish as I want a new surfboard, even though I have some, I want a new one. And even if I can't afford it, I'll go buy one. I'll put it on credit. I'll do whatever I have to do. If I want to move, I move. If I want to rent a place that I technically can't afford, I rent it. I always make sure I give myself everything that I want. And the interesting thing is that every time that I do that, when I give myself what my soul truly wants, the universe always ends up jumping up my income to meet that. So I encourage you to do that. If I am one of those things that you're wanting to do, but you're waiting for the right time, and I have to save up the money and all of that, my suggestion is to just go ahead and invest in it, because doing the practice that you've invested in, I guarantee you will shift you up. And at least from my experience, the universe will respond and give you that. The other thing is that there's nothing wrong with being put into a scenario where you have to now think about how to raise your quality of living, because that's when people always get more creative. And that, for me, when I experienced that, there was a point where I had my resources where I could get money to get what I needed, but nothing ever really took off in my life. I finally went to that, I went to my parents and I went to my mom and I said, I don't want you to give me any more money. And I made sure that, there was literally time for years where I was just living from day to day, not knowing how I was going to pay the rent or do anything, because I also made the commitment that I wasn't going to take any job I didn't want to take. And so that put me in a position where I had to get very creative. And so don't avoid putting yourself in those situations. If investing financially in something that you want, like my courses, if you know that you want that, and you know that investing in that is going to make things uncomfortable for you, the truth is that will put you in a position to take positive action. You'll start looking for ways to expand your business. You'll start looking for ways to create a new business. You'll start looking for ways to do work you wouldn't have done before. It's the way life is meant to be. In fact, we're created this way. This is why people are addicted, in case you want to understand why people get addicted. We are designed, and this is something that scientists and behaviorists have proven, we are designed to respond positively when life is challenging. So if we're hunter-gatherers, we don't respond well when food is just available. We respond well when we go out one day hunting and we can't find anything. And then the next day we find something. When things are sporadic and it's not just laid out for you, when you have to work for it and there's a chance you may or may not be successful, that actually, our brains respond positively to that. This is why people play video games. This is why people gamble. Because if it was just, the stream of money that would come out, people wouldn't do it. It's knowing that you're going to lose 2 times out of 3. That when you do hit the jackpot, then you're satisfied and you're happy. So, we don't live in that world anymore. Everything is provided for us. There are in the grocery stores, you go in a grocery store, I mean, it's unbelievable if you think about it. You're used to it, you don't pay attention to it, but spend a week in the wilderness without anything, and you find out really quick that, oh my God, I can't just go get, some cinnamon and, some chicken and some bread and some Cheetos and some soda. I have to find whatever I want right here. I got to go fish, or I got to go gather, or I got to do something. And so since we're not doing that like hunter-gatherers do to survive, we have to create that environment. And you create that environment by taking risks, investing in the things that you want, and then putting the effort into expanding yourself. So I'll leave things on that level. AskMike.thunderwizard.com if you want to ask me a question. 923.thunderwizard.com if you want everything plus the Mao Shan. Of course, the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong there at thunderwizard.com. You can subscribe as an apprentice if you want to work with me at least once or 4 times a month. And if you want to have access to the 923 but you can't use PayPal, you can go and subscribe at that level at the at thunderwizard.com, and then just be sure to change your subscription back down before the 30 days is up, so you won't get charged a second time. That's it. I don't see any questions, so I guess it must be very clear to you. I was doing all that talking so that if anybody had a question, they would put one up, but apparently nobody has one. So that's it for me, guys. I love you all very much. Please take very good care of yourselves. And if the flash don't come and or I don't get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise, I will see you all very soon. Please take very good care.